I honestly don't even know where to start with this manga. Reading Nana really made me hate reading it. And it's not even the manga's fault. I hate reading because I understand it a little too well. Like, I understand the situations that most of those characters were in, except, well, some parts of it, but not everything. But if you've ever been in toxic relationships or rough situations, you would probably understand this to a T also. So Donna actually consists of two characters. One is basically a punk, a rocker, someone that's in a rock band. She's got a real traumatic past, trying to make it big by signing with mainstreaming. I hate to tell you this, but that ain't gonna happen. And that's really the last thing a rock band would really want to do. The other Nana is basically a bubbly, childish one that really doesn't really know herself, but is set on doing whatever it takes to make a relationship with a person. I know I'm kind of playing around when I'm talking about this, but nah, a lot of the stuff they really go through is real life problems like betrayal, toxic situations, manipulation. All this stuff is real life situations that many of us can relate to. It also shows that a lot of the stuff that we really cared about when we were younger was really stupid, and the world really does not care if you are happy or not. And it depicts how hard it is to really find yourself when you're just dumped into life as a young adult and you don't really know anything, so you kind of just try stuff and you realize that a lot of the stuff you were trying it wasn't a good idea at all. It even shows that love really is a double-edged sword. Sometimes you really don't need it and sometimes you should. It shows you that the pros and the many cons of what happens when you fall in love. It makes you really think, did you really even know what love was from the start? Okay, so the first Nana we meet is very immature. She never really had to do anything on her own, and she always had friends around her. She never had to really sit there and learn about any situation she had to go through, as the first person she ever met after she was leaving a movie was an older man named Takashi that was, I think, 29 years old. Her not knowing anything about him from just him talking to her, she ends up wanting to go on a date with him. She ignored a lot of red flags when she first met him, like him having a wedding ring and only seeing her 2 to 3 times out of the month and taking her to hotels or back roads. So from what we're seeing here, he basically treated Nana like a lick, but she looked at him as her everything. And she would realize that after he would leave, and that type of broken trauma would actually carry on to the next group of people she would meet, would be Junko and 2 of her friends. Her second relationship would actually be with one of Junko's friends named Shoji Endo, as she was already coming from a broken relationship from the start with Takashi, and she was really looking at Shoji as a friend at first, which in hindsight seemed to be a good idea, because later on, when he didn't really get what he wanted, Shoji would even tell her that he wasn't the type of guy to just like someone and not get what he wants. As you can see, Nana really has a bad thing for really falling for red flags real early, as she would ignore this and he would get cold and distant and leave her in the middle of the street in Tokyo, and this is where Takashi would come back into play. And by this point, when Takashi took her on a date, she finally realized and understood that this guy right here really wasn't really the one for her. And as she was leaving, she saw that he was still doing the same old things that he was doing before after he left her. And then by this point, she ends up getting with Shoji, and her and Shoji ends up hitting it off real well finally. And then we move on to Rockstar version with Nana-O. Nana was a part of a rock band with her crew, and a guy that she really fell for. His name was Rin Hojo. Nana would be captivated by Rin and would accept his offer to join his band at the beginning. He started with Nobu and their friends named Tagashi. Nobu later then remarks that he introduced them because Rin seemed like the only one who would relate to her, but that Nana saved Rin just as much as he saved Nana. As the lead singer of the band Black Stones Blast, Nana gained a rave following of fans in her hometown. She projected a cool image supporting her Westwood silver armor ring. She also moved in with Rin, as the two shared an intense relationship until Rin revealed that he had been offered a deal to play guitar for a trap nest in Tokyo. Although Rin and Nana still cared and loved each other, they agreed that a long-distance relationship was pointless. Nana proudly refused to abandon her own music career to follow Rin. By this point, she would end up leaving, and this is when the two Nanas would meet. Nana O, the rock star, and Nana K, naive one. And then by this point, this is where Nana will continue to tell the stories. These two characters are almost like water and oil at first, and then over time they realize, just like everybody, those same things that you feel or the things that you go through in life, other people have those same feelings. Nana manga would express and go through that very well. Yeah, that's about it. Kind of done talking about Nana. It's a real good manga. I hate the fact that I understood it, and yeah, I'll see y'all later.